Welcome, brothers and sisters. My name is Eros and I am the Toolmaker. Today we will continue our series on mindset and meditation. And presuming that you've watched the previous episode, today we will talk about tips and tricks on meditation. What I mean is that we've seen on previous episode how to meditate, and we pinpointed the most common major mistakes. But today we will analyze a few methods and complementary techniques, if you want, for specific situations that you may find yourself in, especially in the beginning of your practice. So, what I want you to do is try to honestly recognize problems and on specific areas that you may have. Now, the first most common problem is the student settling and asking himself, I can't really feel the present moment or define it. This is not a bad thing. It just means that you probably have a very analytical mind, which is a pretty good thing. Now, my first tip for you is during your day, focus on simple routine movements instead of executing them in autopilot. Um, these movements may be washing your teeth, or doing the dishes, or executing your profession. I wouldn't exactly recommend trying this exercise while writing, because writing is quite a complex series of movement, but you may even want to try that. Now, my second tip for you will be to do simple things on purpose. For example, pouring yourself a glass of water, sitting down and drinking said water, focusing on simple sensations. Be there doing it. Don't go on autopilot just like before. Now, in the beginning, these exercises may seem strange to yourself and to others. Just imagine, for example, your brother entering the kitchen and dead serious, like in a sacred way, in an almost robotic way, pouring himself a glass of water, drinking it, and living without saying anything all the time that serious. So you may want to start practicing these method, these tip while you're alone. Just remember to focus on simple sensation, be there doing it, be there with your sensation, be there drinking the water that we've said. Don't ask yourself why you're doing it. So you can train yourself not to overthink things. My third and last tip for this situation, forgive me, is trying sometimes to listen closely to words being said. Either from a friend or in a video. Don't think on how to respond. Simply think to the words being said, listen to them deeply, truly. Don't try to find out what he or she really means. Most of all, don't wait for don't just wait for your turn to speak. Actually listen to the sentence and the word of the sentence. If you get too present in the moment and you lose context, you may anytime simply say, sorry, I was listening to you. I was listening to what you were saying, and everything will fix itself. Another really common situation for the student, especially in the beginning, is telling him or herself, I still get caught on a storm of thoughts every time. This is also not a bad thing. It means you have a very active mind or a very busy lifestyle. My first tip for you in this situation will be to be very careful with your habits to have a daily ritual of meditation. Sit there even if nothing happens. Sit there no matter what, every day, for your 5 minutes, until your inner dialogue eventually finds out that it's pointless to argue with your determination, with your discipline. My second tip for you will be to practice awareness of silence, especially in very silent moments like late nights or early mornings, or when you find yourself in very peaceful places, realizing that there is almost never a perfect silence. There's always a little noise in the background. Perfectly isolated rooms do exist, but we tend to get crazy in perfect silence. So then you can learn to not be too tyrannical with yourself. And remember, meditation is the act in which we seek the silence of the mind, not perfect silence of the mind. And my third and last tip for you in this situation, which may be my personal favorite, but can seem counterintuitive in the beginning. My third and last tip will be to try to anticipate your thoughts. When you get lost in your train of thoughts, literally asking yourself, what am I going to think next? Why should we do that? Because in meditation, as we've seen in previous videos, resisting leads to the opposite results. So if focusing on silence leads to thought, focusing on thoughts leads to exactly. Now, question yourself, what am I going to think next? Usually leads to a blank slate state of mind. Just like when you impose to yourself, say something intelligent, or even say something funny, or my personal most common one, what film should we watch this evening? Which usually just leads to me scrolling down your favorite movie app. The third most common potential situation, especially in your beginning, is the student asking, am I doing meditation correctly? Forgive me again. Now, this one is my personal favorite because it's an amazing situation. If you're asking yourself if you're doing it correctly, it means a great sign of effort and willing to succeed on your practice. In this case, my tips for you will be: first, remember that meditation is felt, not done. You can do something correctly or incorrectly, but you can't feel something correctly or incorrectly. You just feel it. My second tip for you will be when you ask yourself, I can sense clarity. Am I doing this correctly? Remember, clarity does not lead to meditation. Concentration and discipline leads to meditation. Meditation leads to clarity. As long as you're practicing regularly, you are doing it right. My third and last tip for you will be to remember never to focus on your practice itself. Remember that meditation is reached, not done. The practice of meditation is done, and the practice is resting in being, listening to the inner self, feeling your vibration. Meditation is a cleansing of the mind. Clarity already lies within you. Now, these were the best tips and tricks I've learned on all of the years I have been practicing. And I hope they will be as helpful to you as they were for me. Until the next time, I deeply thank you for your kind attention, and may eternal light shine upon you.